Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Get real. Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Get real good. That's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Global Happiness Specialist, Inner Peace Practitioner, Oracle, teacher, but more importantly, a student, a constant, never-ending, ongoing student that is always learning and open to all possibilities. And that is the key, being open. And you know what, this happiness thing, there's not more to do, there's less to do. And before I get into today's topic, let me just share, especially with my new listeners, I don't know how you people are finding me, but I'm getting new listeners, new followers, and I appreciate anyone that is interested in hearing what I share. And let me be clear. I do not pretend to have all the answers. I do not pretend to be this happiness guru, because I don't tell anybody, but the universe throws extra, I believe, throws extra challenges. You're claiming to be a happiness specialist? Well, take this. Bam. But what I have been on this journey for 40-plus years, yeah, you heard me. Because I remember in my early teens, when you make a wish and you blow out the candles on your birthday cake and you make a wish, or you throw a coin into a fountain or a river and you make a wish, I always wish for the same two things. I wanted to live to my potential. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what it looked like. I just said, I want to live to my potential. And I wanted to be happy. And that was it. And this happiness thing, I thought, just like most of us, that happiness, first of all, well, let me just stay on the point. Happiness is going to be found after I accomplish something. Happiness is going to be found when I found Mr. Right, or where I lived, or how much money I had, or how much I weighed, or what I looked like. Oh, yes, I'll be happy then. Wrong. This happiness, and let me be very clear, let me give you my definition. Because don't get caught up in the words. Get caught up in the vibration. Get caught up in the energy. The energy, happiness, peace, contentment. That's what I'm talking about. Inner peace and contentment. The ability to just go through life, walk through life, navigate through life with your shoulders down and a relaxed vibration. And how is that possible? Is that even possible? I'm not talking about not having emotions, because as humans, yes, I feel, and I'm only going to speak for myself. You know, one of my things that I only speak for myself. And if you can relate or something resonates with you, yay! And if it doesn't, that's okay too. One of my biggest, if I did talk about a compliment, is, wow, Rebecca, I just never thought about it like that before. That's it. I'm just sharing a different perspective, because I've been on this journey and still on the journey, this journey, not searching for, but what is the truth about happiness, the truth about contentment, the truth about inner peace. because yours truly believes that that's the ultimate. Everything else is secondary. Everything else is second. I could care less about having millions. Let me just give a nice figure, $500 million in the bank to be the person I was 3 years ago. No, thank you. 20 years ago, hell no. 40 years ago, hell no. You couldn't pay me to give up my contentment. You couldn't pay me to give up this inner peace. And let me just say, this world doesn't. Well, let me just ask you. I'm not going to come to a conclusion. I have a conclusion. But does this world value contentment? Does this world value inner peace? Does the world value happiness, this energy of peace? I'm going to say no. The value is on what I see with my little peepers. The value is on accomplishments. And this word that gets bantered around a lot, success and abundance. Abundance of what? Success because of what? I believe success is the ability to have inner peace, the ability to vibrate contentment, regardless of what the world, life throws at me. I'm going to be successful. And is it easy? Hell no. But the good news is happiness, inner peace, contentment. I'm using them all the same. They're not different, not in my world, maybe in your world, but in my world they're the same vibration, are practice skills. It's a practice. That's the good news. And if I can practice, you can practice. Happiness is a practiced skill. Inner peace is a practice skill. Contentment is a practice skill. I didn't have to practice it before the programming. It was my nature. It was my birthright. But with all the programming now, when I say happiness is a practice skill, the first part of like any other skill, from being a professional athlete, but scratch professional, being an athlete is a practice. A piano player, a musician, an actor, a speaker, a writer, a chef, all practice skills. And this happiness thing, trust me, it's another practice. But it starts with how committed, how much do you, my dear listener, prioritize practicing peace, practicing inner peace, practicing vibrating contentment. It all comes down to what you prioritize. And you already know what I prioritize. And so when I say your answer on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is happiness in your life? Most people wave their hand, yeah, I want to be happy. Yeah, of course. But what are you practicing? Are you practicing trust? Are you practicing letting go of attachments? Do you have expectations? Do you worry? Do you compare yourself to other people? Do you give power to words? I know I said that. Do you think anything is serious, anything is important? Are you sharing bad news? Are you resisting the present moment? Are you taking things personally? Those are some of the program behaviors that have been proven to subtract from your happiness and your contentment. This fear, that's another program. So the practice is microscope, ongoing, 24/7, putting a microscope on all of those program behaviors and eliminating them one by one. And you know I'm up to, how many am I up to? 51? 51 or 52. I've got to make this list. I keep adding. So you've got something to do. You're never going to be bored. There is always a project. There is always something to do, and the work is always done where? You know, I teach these. I've been teaching the Truth About Happiness classes for about 15 years. I taught in California, in Oregon, and now in Nevada, the Truth About Happiness. And I always start the class the same way. If you heard it a million times, just close your ears on this one. I always start the class the same way. I say, in fact, if it's a smaller class, I actually give out a present. I give everyone a package. There is an item inside, and it's wrapped up with a nice little bow, you know, in case I feel like putting a bow on it. Usually I don't, but it's good for the story. A nice little bow, and in that package, I say, is the answer. This is the first day of class. In that package is the answer to all of your problems, all of your challenges, all of your bumps in the road, all of your hurdles for the rest of your life. You know what's in the package? Can anybody guess? It's a mirror. That's the good news. All of this, all of the work, first of all, the work is the work is the awareness, but all the work, all the practice is done, is accomplished by you. And so there's nobody else to blame. There's nobody else to blame. And this work, this message, I realize it's controversial. I realize it's disruptive. It's contentious. It's unpopular. I get haters all the time, and oh my goodness, the hate. Woo-wee. Wee. The hate that I get, the comments, the emails. But part of the practice is knowing that nothing anyone says is personal. I'm actually getting ahead of myself. Before I go on, let me share with you the number to call in, and I'll get to I have some people in the queue. So the number to call in to speak with me live is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619. And if you're on Wisdom, you can just request to come up live. Let me ask you a few questions. And this is only you can answer. On a scale from 1 to 10, how important is happiness in your own life? And what is your definition of happiness? And the other question is, what or who is subtracting from your happiness today? Another question, are you as happy when you're faced with life's inevitable challenges? Are you as happy when you're faced with life's inevitable challenges? And in fact, oh my goodness, since I'm up here claiming to be a happiness specialist, I'm bombed I'm getting bombed left and right. And I believe that the reason is, oh my goodness, and now I'm even thanking the universe. Thank you, universe, for the challenges, because I know that after whatever I am up against, whatever I find myself encountering, whatever it is, I know it's for my betterment. I know it's there to serve me, even if my ego, lower consciousness, critical mind, whatever you want to call it, even if that voice in my head tries to come up with a convincing story that it's not. This shouldn't be happening. This is injustice. This is unjust. Unjust. No, this isn't right. This is a hard one. Put your seatbelts on. But if it's happening, it's supposed to be happening. You can believe that or not. I'm going to ask you 5 simple questions. Can other people hurt your feelings? Can other people offend you? Can other people disappoint you? Do you blame other people or your circumstances for how you feel? If you answered yes to any of those questions, Guess what? Number one, it's not your fault. Number two, those are programs. You were taught that someone else can hurt your feelings or people can offend you. Oh, where was I? Oh, I was picking up a pizza with vegan cheese. And I was actually standing outside, and this father and his little girl, she had to be 4 years old, 3 or 4, and he was telling her, he was saying, now what did he say? He says, now when you talk to her, make sure you're nice, make sure you talk to her nicely. And I just, oh my God, I just started cringing. I said, oh, another program, another upcoming people pleaser. Not making a judgment. There's a difference between judging and there's a difference between describing. So there's no judgment, but there is a description. So the programming starts early. You know it. I know it. But it's up to each individual if the commitment and if you prioritize wanting this contentment and wanting this vibration and this energy of contentment. If that's a priority for you, if it is, number one, that there are things to practice, that there are programs to eliminate. Some people say beliefs. It's the same thing, beliefs, programs, conditioning. I like to call it brainwashing, but you know, that testing just went way off the scale. You've been brainwashed. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Anything you weren't born with and you learned. It's a program. In fact, one of my favorite authors, I'm going to have to put him up as number one, David Hawkins. In his one of the books, The Eye of the Eye, he talks about these programs where, you know what? Oh my goodness! Hold on. I'm gonna travel because I'm traveling now, which means I'm walking to another part of the house/studio. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Yes, I got it. Oh, reality, spirituality, in the moment. Beepity beep beep, beepity beep beep beep. Okay, let me put these down. So all of these quotes, they're from David Hawkins, from the book The Eye of the Eye. And let's see, this was one of his quotes that says, when I say quote, these are his words. It might be said in modern terms that people are run by their software programs of which they are unconscious. And this is in the same book, but it's in a different chapter. This chapter is the resumption of early life. It says most people seem to have a vested interest in the negativity of their perceptual world and resist leaving it for awareness on a higher level. People seem to derive sufficient satisfaction from their endless anger. That's not what I really meant to read, but okay, I'm in it now. Their endless anger, resentment, remorse, and self-pity to actively resist moving on to such levels of understanding, forgiveness, or compassion. Okay, where is this about? Okay, here we go. Humans are seen to be innocent due to their extreme unawareness and unconsciousness of their reality. In this state, they are run by programming and illusionary belief systems. So all I'm saying is I'm not the only one, and there are countless teachers that are talking about this program, whatever word that they use. And that is really my point. This is David Hawkins. This is the last one, because I usually don't read when I'm talking. A child is born with the innocence of an unprogrammed consciousness. But then, like the hardware of a computer, it is systematically programmed with software, which is society's input. The child will innocently believe anything it's told. The unprotected consciousness of the child then becomes prey to the collective ignorance, misinformation, false belief systems that have blighted man's capacity for happiness for the last millennia. I love that book. David Hawkins, The Eye of the I. And that's what I'm talking about here. Putting a spotlight on the programs. All of these learned programs are the reason for the unrest, are the reason for the unhappiness, are the reason for the anger, are the reason for the resentment, the sadness. It takes practice, it takes commitment, and it takes a desire to want to experience something different. That's it. An ongoing desire, a relentlessness. Again, if you want to speak with me live, the number to call in is area code 646-564-9619, and press the number 1 if you want to speak with me, area code 646-564-9619, and, of course, on Wisdom. You know what to do with that. And when I look down, I'll invite you on. Okay. Today, let me just share this because let me give my definition of happiness. I don't know if I did that already. My personal definition of happiness is the ability to vibrate, to be an energy of contentment regardless of what happens. And when I talk about happiness, it is interchangeable with that word contentment. Everybody gets contentment. Is it possible to be content, to feel contentment in every moment? Yes. The answer is yes. When the programming, when the direction, when the focus is off the ego and the programming. Yes, it is. Regardless of the bombs flying next to you, regardless of anything happening. So happiness is a state in mind. Peace, inner peace, is a state in mind. It's a vibration. It's an energy. It's a foundation. It's your own personal temperature gauge. I was talking to some of my exercise students yesterday, and I'm in the desert now, so it's hot. It's hot. And I said, well, what do you have your temperature gauge set at in the house? And some of them were saying 77, that's hot, 75. So what is your personal temperature gauge set at? I'll share mine. And these are the behaviors that are going to add to your contentment. And these are the behaviors that are going to add to your inner peace and add to your happiness. When you have your internal temperature gauge set at self-awareness, being aware of what you're doing, what you're saying, why you're saying it, being aware of all of it, living consciously. That's a temperature gauge. How about choosing peace in all moments? It doesn't matter whether you're talking to somebody that you know, family member, relationship, or a stranger. What you know instinctively that whatever you're going to say or however you are going to behave is going to create peace or drama. It's very simple. Peace or drama. And sometimes, listen, I'm not up here talking about, I choose peace all the time. Hell no. Sometimes I choose the drama, but I know that what I'm going to get when I choose the drama, that's being conscious. Because everything is in order. And there's a reason for everything. If something is happening, it's supposed to be happening. And if it's not happening, guess what? It's not time, or it's not supposed to be happening. It's simple. The other temperature gauge practices are acceptance. And that means acceptance of self and acceptance of others. You know, last week I was talking, what was the topic last week? Oh, my goodness. You know, one of the things I asked the universe for was to live in the present moment, and I'm telling you right now, for me to remember anything last week, what was the topic last week? I don't remember, but one of the things I do remember saying is I said, give yourself an A+. We are all doing, myself included, we are all doing the best that we can in every single moment. You're being the best you can in a moment. I'm being the best I can in any moment. And I said, give yourself an A+. Well, there was someone who was listening to the show last week who sent me a comment, long comment, about, no, if you give yourself an A+, then that causes complacency. Complacency, yes. Complacency, yes. And they went on to further make their point. Really what it was is what I said was wrong and what they said was right. And that happens all the time. And one of the things that I don't practice anymore, because I was the queen of arguing my point. I was the queen of needing to be right. That's another program, the need to be right. Not only is that a program, that is an addiction. An addiction to the need to be right. Oh, I had that bad. Ooh-wee. Now, regardless of how it sounds, I don't need to be right. You can be right about everything. You can be right about anything. But I know what contentment feels like. I know when I vibrate contentment, and I know when I don't. I can feel a little pea under 30 mattresses. I can feel an ounce, a speck, a grain of sand of discontentment. I can feel it. And you know what? If I can feel it, I know you can too. Especially when you practice getting in tune to that intuition, that sixth sense that we all have. You can feel it when something's off. And when I say off, I'm not putting a judgment on it. I'm not saying you're disconnected. You are always a conscious energy living a human experience. You are always that. However, there is a I'm just going to speak for myself. There is, if I'm feeling off a little, if I have any kind of hate, and we're going to get to today's topic, any kind of hate or disdain or dislike for someone else, I can feel that. And you know what? It used to feel good. Well, that's a story, but it used to feel satisfying. It used to feel, yeah, they're wrong, I'm right. And I'm here to say that that's just disappeared with time and with practice. And scratch all of that, with time especially. Whatever is happening, there is a time, there is a season for everything. And if it's not happening, it's only because it's not time or it's not the season. It has nothing to do with what you're doing or what you're not doing. I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback on this one. You think you're making something happen? You think you're making something not happen? Okay. I equate it all to our inner digestive system. I'm not making anything I'm not making anything inside of me work. Heart beating, blood flowing, hemoglobin globuling. I'm not doing any of that. The same outside. But I didn't say that out loud, did I? Let me get back to the temperature gauge. The other practices is just surrendering without resistance in every moment. Humbling the ego. Humbling the ego. Those stories, I know I have them, but they do not have any power. And the focus, I could, focus on it from time to time, but I know the truth about those stories. And beware of that word because. That word because, who is the author, and I've said this before, who is the author of that story after you use the word because? Who's coming up with that? Is that universal or is that ego-driven? Anyway, some of the other temperature gauge practices that will add to your contentment are practicing trust. In fact, here we go. Let me share this one. I got this question. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I got this question this week. I love questions. And so here was a question. Teach me how not to worry. Now, let me just start again. How many of you out there worry? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. I can see you. Come on, be honest. Raise your hand. Higher. Higher. Well, know that worrying is another program. So this person said, teach me how not to worry, please. I'm a worrier warrior. That's actually catchy, but it's hard to say. I'm a worrier warrior. I don't want to worry all the time. I just do, like it's an involuntary reflex. Not reflux, reflex. It's just like an involuntary reflex. No, it's just a program. And you know when you have two, what's the opposite of worry? The opposite of worrying is trusting. So you have worry and then you have trust. So which is going to win? Which is going to win out? Which is going to win the contest? Which is going to be number one? Well, it's going to be whatever you feed. Whatever you feed, whatever you fuel, whatever you focus on, whatever is going to win. So she goes on to, and I'm sure this is okay because I'm not giving out any names, and this was on a post, a social media post. And she goes further and says, my ex is a narcissist drug addict. I love this labeling people narcissists. These poor narcissists. Narcissists are people too. But because behind every narcissist is, guess what? A victim. So, the pointing the finger at other people and saying that they're the ones, what it is an epidemic. Talk about a virus of blaming another person, blaming a circumstance. I know I'm hard, I'm rough, but I used to be a boot camp instructor, and I still have that. I'm just not one of those, darling. Yes, I'm just not. And I admire the teachers that can do that. It's just not me. I'm gonna strike right down the middle. Okay, here we go. So this is what she said. My ex is a narcissist drug addict, and my kids and I are traumatized by him. I'm constantly in fear of what scheme he's planning next to make our lives more difficult. I wish I could solve for it, but he is relentless and the courts aren't listening. Okay, that's the scenario. And then I wrote back, there are two reasons why people worry. Number one, and I know I got to get to the hater. I'm going to get to the hater topic right after this. I promise. There are two people, I wrote back, there are two reasons why people worry. Number one, you're programmed to worry, and with all worry without exception is learned behavior, so it's not your fault. And then the second, number two, is lack of trust. The good news is whatever you learned, you can unlearn. Sidebar. You've heard of common addictions like alcohol, drugs, gambling, shopping. There's also an addiction to worrying. She said she was a worrier warrior. I mean, that's heavy duty. But it's impossible to worry and trust at the same time. So what are you feeding? And then what are you going to do? How are you going to spend your time if you're not worrying? Number one, it's a program. Number two, you continue to feed it. Number three, contentment isn't a priority. Worrying is just drama disguised. It's just drama. Okay, Then she writes back, I'm in a new relationship going on 2 years who is teaching me trust. Learning trust not after having it for many years is a hard thing to learn. Thank goodness for how patient my new man is. Thank you. I hope within due time I don't worry as much. And then here yours truly writes back. My dear, your challenge is more than I can answer in a single post. What I notice right away is that, number one, you're depending on someone else to find trust. A current relationship or a past relationship has nothing to do with trust. The trust comes from self and God, of course. And you know what? I found someone new today. Well, I didn't find him. The universe found him for me. His name is, what is his name? His name is Daryl Anka, and he's a channel. I know I'm getting off. He's a channel, and he channels Bashar, Bashar. And I just found him yesterday, and instead of saying God or the universe, he uses the term all that is. I love that term, all that is. I'm gonna start practicing that. I just like it. Okay, here we go. So when I say trust with self and trust in all that is. So put your seatbelt on, and I told her to put your seatbelt on for this because this is the message I'm delivering to her with love. A person who values themselves doesn't pick someone who is an a-hole or a narcissist and then blames the a-hole for their problems. This pointing the finger at others, I would be willing to bet you it instinctively knew that your ex was an a-hole before you decided to be with him and have children. I've been with a-holes, but that's because I didn't value me at the time. If I feel less than, it's because I picked less than, and I can't blame anybody else. But even though, I'm going off now, even though I picked less than, even that's a lesson. Even that's a lesson to get me to a point of valuing self. I could go on, but I won't. I appreciate you asking me the question. And this person writes back, Rebecca, you're not wrong. I appreciate your words of wisdom. Sometimes it takes another person to open your eyes. Thank you. And then I wrote back, you're special, you're powerful, you're open. This is a journey. Live it. Live it. Okay, a couple more things just to temperature gauge. Celebrate your growth, patience, remaining open to all possibilities. Let's get to the haters. I can't believe I'm talked, and now I didn't even get to the haters, but here we go. What is it, Taylor Swift? Hate is gonna hate. Hate is gonna hate. And thank you for hanging in there with me. Thank you for your patience. Boy, I have haters. But what do I do with haters? Let me give you an example of what happened this week. I am in the middle of selling my house that I had in Oregon, my dream home. And there was, I had a renter in the house. Anyway, fast forward. This person wrote a email about all of the repairs, all of the problems, and there's only really 3. All of the repairs, all of the problems with that house. You know, there was a shower that was leaking, but that was sealed, that was repaired, and I didn't even know that the hot tub wasn't working until I got this email. And then the last one was it was a powder post beetle infestation. I know, it's crazy. Powder post beetle infestation that happened in 2017, 2018. Now, what that meant was some of the cabinets inside the house where these beetles, they hatched. The wood wasn't treated correctly, and so there were beetles that were inside of the wood, and then they hatched. And so when the beetles hatched, they popped out, and there's little holes. You can see them. I mean, you really, if you look hard, they're the size of pins. They're just really, really teeny. But there were a lot of beetles that hatched, and not all the cabinets, but a few cabinets in the kitchen and a few cabinets in the hall. But when I say the size of a pinprick, I mean they're really small. And so my options were to rip out all the cabinets, these beautiful, gorgeous cabinets. I mean, this was a custom built house, beautiful cabinets. Or the other option number 2, and when I say rip out all the cabinets, I even got estimates to have that done, and it varied from $45,000 to $55,000 to rip out all the cabinets and replace the cabinets. Well, this was practically a new home, and I didn't want to do that. The other option was just to fill the holes with wood putty. And so that's what I chose to do, even though I didn't fill the holes. I haven't filled them yet, and that's going to be on anyone that wants to do that. But that's the other option. But this person wrote this scathing email. Hold on a second. Let me get it. About make sure that all of the repairs or the infestation is disclosed. Make sure that the shower leaks are disclosed. In other words, make sure it's called a seller's disclosing statement. That's what it is. And I've already done that. I disclosed everything. I didn't know about the hot tub because I wasn't told. But, of course, that was amended, and everything was disclosed, all of it. But not for some reason, because this person asked me for another year to lease the house. And I said, no, I want to sell it. So that was number 1. They didn't like that. Number 2, with all of that, so now there's, but I gave them 3 months notice. And then after that, this house has to go into escrow even after that. But the bottom line is when people, and I'm talking about these people, whoever they are, when these people don't get their way or don't get what they want, I'm telling you, and I don't know if you are one of these types of people that are listening, don't get your way. The program behavior is to, number 1, attack back with meanness, with viciousness, with whatever you want to throw in. I've been attacked at least 3 times in the last 2 weeks. And I don't say attack, and trust me, I'm not taking it personally, because all of it is a lesson. All of it is a lesson for me. And so when she sent this letter with all of this, there's only 3 things that they were really focused on. And if these aren't disclosed, I will make sure whoever buys this house knows that these are the problems in the house. Well, I wrote back. And this is how I responded to a hater. I wrote back. The subject line was, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your heartfelt diligence. Yes, everything that you mentioned in your email to the realtor have been disclosed, except for the hot tub not working, because I never knew about that. You never said that the hot tub wasn't working, not to me or the property management company. Oh, and this is another thing that they said, that I had estimates. I said all of the estimates have been disclosed to have anything repaired. And if you have any further estimates, please forward them to me or to the realtor. I signed it with, which I couldn't even believe, it just came out of me. I signed it with, I can't help but love you. I can't help but love you. Now, I've never signed anything like that before. That was new for me. But with that came a vibration that was so peaceful. Because I know how to fight fire with fire. I know how to do that. Most of us do. But that fighting fire with fire, I'm the only one getting burned on that. The fighting the haters, giving back to the haters what they throw. I'm only speaking for myself. For me, the most satisfying, and I mean satisfying to my soul, kindness, love, appreciation for the next level, for the level of expansion that I am receiving. I hope I'm making this message really clear. The people and one of the reasons, this people hating and saying lies and saying untruths, lies about me, or wanting to, you can feel an intention. I can feel an intention, and if I can feel an intention, so can you. So the intention felt whatever that, if it's mud slung at me, I'm not slinging mud back. Haters are going to hate. It's how you respond to the haters that determine your personal vibration in that moment. And I'm here to tell you that I spent decades throwing exactly the same, with the same type of energy back, and it's just no more. I can't do it anymore. It's not satisfying. It's not satisfying anymore. More than not satisfying, it feels like I've said this before, drinking poison. These haters, they're only reflecting their hearts. They're only reflecting themselves. They're only reflecting how they feel. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. You want to really bother, or you want to really get to a hater? Throw back compassion, love, acceptance, understanding. And when I sent that email back, I can't help but love you. Thank you for your heartfelt diligence. I appreciate you. Please send me whatever estimates you have. I got no response. None. This is the second incident this week where I was told. What was I told? Oh, in an email. This is something totally different about a plumbing situation. I was told that I was disrespectful. Here we go. Disrespectful and inconsiderate. disrespectful and inconsiderate. Now, I promise you, my dear listeners, my intent, what I am is direct, and what I am is to the point, and what I know what I am, but an intention to be disrespectful, an intention to be inconsiderate, not in this circumstance. I'm just saying in this specific circumstance, it just wasn't the truth. And so my response was that, and here we go with this big thing about respect. No one can disrespect you. No one can make you feel less than unless you already feel it. All somebody else does is put a spotlight on it. No one can disrespect me. No one can make me feel less than unless I don't respect myself, unless I feel less than myself. No one on the outside can do that unless the programming hasn't been cleared out. Oh, I know the programming. Treat me with respect. Well, you treat yourself with respect. And when you get to a level where you practice self-respect, no one can disrespect you. I know that's a hard one. I know that may not be swallowed so easily. But I'm here to tell you there's absolutely no one that can offend you, that can disrespect you, that can all of this hurt your feelings. But that's what the world teaches. And the world teaches that to have a continual pointing the finger outward. It's always someone else. It's always something else. It's always someone. And if there is, say somebody does have a intention of disrespect or treating somebody mean on purpose, say that does happen, it's still not personal. What does the man with the humpback want more than anything else? Not to remove his hump. No, he wants you to feel just like he feels, miserable. If someone is mean, it's because they're feeling that in their soul. It's not about you. These haters, I'm not going to say I feel sorry for them. Well, what I will say is I can predict their destiny. What I will say is I can predict how content they are. There's no contentment when you have any dislike, disdain for anyone else. None. I don't care how just you want to make it seem or say. This dislike, disdain for anyone, and I'm throwing myself into it too. I've got people that have done me wrong, But the truth is, they didn't do me wrong. You've all heard about the house, the family house was gifted to the handyman. My mother didn't do that. The attorney didn't do that. All that is, God, the universe did that. There is nothing personal. These haters, let them just drown in their own hate. And when I say drown, I really mean that, literally and figuratively, not being able to breathe, not being able to even see light or experience light. Can you imagine living in a closet, living in a dark closet without any light? That's what happens. That's what happens with hate and dislike for someone else. Don't think someone else is being affected by your hate. I'm just saying your hate. Let me get back to me. Nobody's going to be affected if I hate, except for me. What is the practice? And it's not easy. But we've had tons of people, humans that have come around. That didn't even make sense. Let me just. Let's see. Does everybody recognize? I'm going to throw this in just as a teaching. It has nothing to do with religion, just as a teaching. There was a man. Hold on a second. What was his name? Hold on. It's coming to me. Hold on. Let's see. What was his name? Oh, Jesus. That's right. Great lessons. And I love sharing this story. You know the story. Poor guy, ridiculed, humiliated, crown of thorns, stabbed, forced to carry his own cross. You know the story. And nailed on the cross. And what was the message? What was the teaching? Forgive them, they don't know what they're doing. He's really just talking about the haters. They don't know what they're doing. And these people that, and I used to be one of them, let me just tell you, I'm not up here, yay, no. I was a queen hater. Oh, I had an enemy list. And I liked adding to it. Oh, yes. A new enemy to attack. Bam! Let me put him on the list. I'll get to him. Yeah, that's who I used to be. Until I prioritized inner peace, happiness, and contentment. And if there's anything that stands in the way, conflicts with my inner peace, conflicts with my contentment, trust me, know this, I am going to do something about it in the mirror with the help from all that is, with the help from the universe, with the assistance of God. And all I say, and the term, the Creator, whatever word you want. All I do every day, every single day, outside, palms up, universe, how do I? And then you fill in the blank. How do I let go? How do I let go? How about this one? How do I let go of not wanting revenge? How do I let go of holding a grudge? How do I let go of hate? How do I practice more acceptance? How do I? That's it. And let it go. I don't know. To me, the world is teaching more things to do, more behaviors to do, and I'm here to share that there's less things to do. It's like going on a trip and overpacking. Going on and that, I haven't mastered that yet. I've always packing too much, and life is the same thing. I'm going through life and I'm carrying these suitcases that I don't need. What am I carrying? These program behaviors of having expectations. I don't need to have expectations. Expectations, I promise you, eventually add to disappointment and heartbreak. And in fact, I was talking earlier about this new person that the universe threw in my life, Daryl Anka. He's a channel, and he channels Bashar, B-A-S-H-A-R. And there are, of course I didn't write it down, there are 5 formulas. I'm just going to paraphrase because I really don't remember. There are 5 formulas that he's talking about with life. And the first one is, as far as your passion, follow your passion, be inspired by your passion. But the other thing that he was saying is, have no attachments to an outcome. 0 attachments to an outcome. Being okay with uncertainty. There are less things that I have to do at this stage, not more, less. And one of the practices, one of my big practices, being okay with regardless, with not judging what I'm doing, how I'm doing, how fast I'm making something happen, or how fast or not fast the universe is making something happen. The judgment of a day, this is a good day, this is a bad day. No, this is just an experience. Good, bad. One of the things that he said, which I really resonated with, the different energies, is there's a positive energy in the universe, there's a negative energy in the universe, and there's neutral energy. And so the positive energy is, and this isn't from me, this is from Barsha. The positive energy is consciousness, more unity. The negative energy is more separation, conflict, and neutral doesn't have to be described. But all of the energies are necessary. So there's no good and there's no bad. There just is. At least that's my practice. I know it's a little different. I know it's a little off the wall. But the contentment, what else is there? What else is there when I'm on my deathbed, breathing my last breath? What else could I ask for? Contentment? And in fact, I've said this before. I say it every time I speak. The 5 most common regrets of the dying. The 5 most common regrets of the dying. It's a study. You can Google it. The first one is, I wish I would have pursued my dreams and aspirations. All that is follow your inspiration. We are all gifted with certain things. And the gifts are more than one. And it's not about making money with your gift, but that could happen, because there are plenty of people that have made money with their gifts, that are wealthy financially with their gifts. Prince, Michael Jackson, Anthony Bourdain, Elvis, let's see who else, Robin Williams, all made money with their gifts. So it's not the gift and making money with the gift. It's the gift is the expression. So the expression of the gift, of your gifts, expressing the gift without attaching, well, this gift is supposed to make, I'm actually stammering over words, but it's just the expression of your gifts, whatever they are, however they look like for you. We are as different as our fingerprints. And so what you can feel when you are in the middle of an inspiration, because you do lose track of time and you are enjoying it. But that is it. Do that without any kind of, well, you can do it however you want to do it. Let me just speak for myself. The gifts, one of my gifts is being a teacher. And I'm not talking about, whether it's an exercise teacher or it was the Truth About Happiness teacher. In fact, I think that's the only thing. No, that's not it. I must have something else. I can't think of them right now. but your gifts, just express. Oh, and the other thing, laughing, entertaining, lighten up. I was talking to someone the other day. I said, laugh every single day. If laughter isn't on your to-do list, Not just dancing and singing, laughing. Put that on the to-do list. 5 most common regrets of the dying. I wish I pursued my dreams and aspirations and not the life others expected of me. I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings and speak my mind. Really what that is to me is I just wish I would have been myself. And that being yourself is really, that's another discovery. Because who are you? Who are you without the programming? I wish I would have stayed in touch with my friends. I wish I would have let myself be happier. I don't know about you, but I'm in the 4th quarter. I'm in the 4th quarter of my life. The 4th quarter. What's important? Is it the doing or is it the being? Or is it a combination of both? Inspired doing, yes. Being, yes. There's less that you have to do, not more. Oh, haters. Let me get back to the haters just for a second. It doesn't matter what someone else says. It doesn't matter what they think about you. I know I used to really care about what other people thought about me. Really, it really bothered me. And I'm not definitely coming up here saying, "Oh, I'm rid of it. Oh, I'm over that." No, there's still a little programming, but know that that's a program that I care about what someone else thinks about me. Because when I popped out of the womb, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, I could care less if I was walking around here with clothes or without clothes, finger in the nose, finger in the butt. I could care less. And so that caring about what other people think, and thank goodness in the 4th quarter, it's less and less and less. And if you've listened to me for a long time, especially I've been doing this for, I don't know, almost 15 years. No. And I do believe that that's one of the reasons why the universe is preparing. Preparing me, preparing you for the next moment. It's a preparation. And whatever happens, whatever I'm going through is a preparation for the next moment. Especially when I say preparation, I'm talking about all those unwanted moments, all those not preferred moments. Do you think if I could snap my fingers and have everything nice and oh, are you kidding? My ego would love it. But the truth is, I don't know what's best. My ego doesn't know what's best. But the universe does. All that is does. And I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose, to discover the truth, to learn the lessons, for growth. Sometimes it just don't feel too good, but that's another program. Labeling feelings. Oh, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel like that. Well, if I'm feeling blue, or if I'm feeling in this whole thing, I'm stuck. That's another program. If I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling, I'm supposed to be feeling it. Anyway, haters are going to hate, and it's not personal. It's just not. Oh, let me share the last. I know I'm going on, but this last example. So I'm in this monthly magazine with the classes I teach, the truth about happiness, and so there's management. It's a long story, but my name was taken off the class. My name was taken off out of the magazine. So it's just a class without me, and that was a quote unquote personal attack. However, and the reason why it was taken out was also not true. However, what did I learn from that? Whether my name is next to a class that I teach or not, the class is still going to get taught. My ego doesn't need my name, my title, none of that. No, my ego needs a name. My ego needs a title. And the purpose and the practice, that's the purpose. And the practice of experiencing more contentment is to starve, suffocate, less focus, less power to that ego. It's really just being more humble. I know I may not sound it, but the humbleness. Now, I don't need a name attached to a class that I teach. You can advertise the class without my name. Hater. And laugh and lighten up. That's the end of today's show. Thank you for listening to Reality Spirituality. Reality Spirituality Radio is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Follow me on Twitter at RL Norrington. LinkedIn, my Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. I have a few videos on my YouTube channel. Of course, everything's going to be updated. When? Who knows? It's not my time. My website, RebeccaNorrington.com. That's RebeccaNorrington.com. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. And that was self-published in 2014. The book I'm writing now is Program for Unhappiness. And I've got most of it done, still working on it. And until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who the hell you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. Your conscious energy, which is always evolving, always changing, always growing. Love is patient, and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself by accepting yourself in every single moment. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, happiness specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington. Remember, happiness, inner peace, and contentment are all practice skills. And I promise you, the more you practice, the more peace you will find, the more contentment you will experience. And your experience in every moment reflects on what you practice. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers.